It's imperative because that noise activates the vagus nerve system. That does the same thing of reducing anxiety. And so you're and the noises, and look, when people do this the first time, they're like, well, I don't know about making all these noises. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um, the more you, but once you walk through this, what you experience is profound. Now, it's the noise, the breath, the music. Now let's go to the physical contact. The physical contact is someone like myself who would put hands at certain points. Like I'll move your feet, I'll take your knees, maybe put them up against your chest. It's to help the breath work.
Built by the rested, you can't tell me nothing. Built by adversity, led by courage. Everybody doubted me, now everybody proud of me. I swear to God, I'm bound to be everything I wanna be. Built by...
What's up, my people? What's up, my babies? What's up, my loves? It's your boy, Ronnie LeDuff, back again with another episode of Built by the Red Stick. Now, before I get into this beautiful, handsome, well-dressed, buff gentleman I got on side of me, should take a listen to a word from my sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Rayville Recovery Treatment Center. Rayville is about an 80-plus bed facility in North Louisiana, just about 3 hours north of Baton Rouge. It's the #1 co-occurrence residential treatment facility in the state of Louisiana. If you're struggling with mental health, if you're struggling with alcohol or drug abuse, give my people at Rayville Recovery a call. The number is 318-728-5488 and tell them I sent you. And I know you probably like, well, I want to get help, but that's 3 hours away. Don't trip. They got you. They will come pick you up. They will transport you all over from the state of Louisiana. I'm talking all four corners, even the central. They coming to get you. Admission is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you got to do is call that number, 318-728-5488. And then you probably like, well, I want to get some help, but I don't have insurance. Don't trip. They got you. They even take uninsured people for help. No man or woman left behind. Call my beautiful people at Rayville Recovery today. Again, that number is 318-728-5488. Rayville Recovery. Recovery redefined. The journey starts with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gerbils and hamsters, even goldfish and blowfish. This last episode we had with this guy was so nice we had to do it twice. If you missed it, we running it back for you. I mean, we talking breath work. We talking drama for the soul. I put them words kind of backwards, but he'll get into all that. I'm still going to stand on the theory that he is the best swimmer that I know personally. He claims he only do laps. I still say he the best swimmer. Just a great guy all around. You call him, he's there. Probably one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated clinicians. And I know I can't say all the letters. I'm going to let him do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Greg Greer back in the Built by the Red Stick building. Let's give him a round of applause.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome
Thank you.
back.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you
man.
so much for
Now,
making
decorated made me sound like
Decorated.
military, and I'm not military. Now,
Well,
I am an Air Force brat.
There you go.
But not.
And we shooting today. It's on Memorial Day, right?
Word.
Okay. And so last time I tried to know all your letters and I messed it up. So I figure if I say decorated,
I'm with you.
You can
I'm
let
with
us
you.
know.
I did.
Let us know what them letters look like.
So I'm an MSW. I have a master's in social work.
Okay.
I'm an LMSW. I have a licensed master's social worker. I have a LAC. I'm a licensed addictions counselor. CGP stands for Certified Group Psychotherapist. I'm a clinical member with American Group Psychotherapy Association. And I can't remember, last time we talked, I enrolled with the University of Metaphysics, and I'm working on a PhD in quantum metaphysics with a focus on relationships. I became certified in neuro-linguistic programming, and then October last year, I became certified with activation breathwork. And this whole spiritual journey all started with my journey in soul drama. Now that opened doors that it takes time to be able to describe accurately.
And so I'm a third. You got all those letters behind your names. I have a suffix. I'm a third.
You're a third. Oh, right. You were a third, right on. I dig it.
Ronnie Cecil LeDuff the third. And so you said a word just now, right? Metaquantum physics.
Quantum metaphysics.
Quantum metaphysics. So a few of my people in the chat right now, they gonna want. What's that?
Well, let's say the word quantum is smallest measure.
Right.
And metaphysics is a spiritual meaning. Let's just say meaning of life, and I apply meaning to all incidents of occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the University of Metaphysics, now metaphysics, let's go quantum physics. So Max Planck, who is the father of quantum physics, uses hardcore science, but he goes back into the early 1900s and he met Albert Einstein, and even in their theories with mathematicians, they became spiritual because they found connections with science and spirituality. Metaphysics, and it's kind of funny, my father, who was a neurosurgeon, and we could go into him and his research with developing the airbag with the Air Force and all that jazz. But he made, I said, hey, Dad, it's going to be metaphysics. And he goes, yeah, metaphysics. So he was mocking me.
Yeah.
Metaphysics, because it's not true science, but the measurement of spirituality is a component of it. And metaphysics, as far as the university's definition, is consciousness. And what is consciousness? So from a Christian point of view, it talks about what is Christ consciousness. Mm-hmm. And so when there's meditation and understanding who you are and what does it mean, I am, because how many times do you meditate and go, I am good enough.
Right.
I am so loved. I am. How many times do I have to, download information into myself here?
Right.
So quantum metaphysics, basically metaphysics is a spiritual component to add meaning to all life. And I say it in the here and the now.
Gotcha.
The here and the now.
So it's like Facebook.
What? I'm sorry, bro. That was
just called Meta.
Oh, Meta AI? Well, that's a whole nother animal, brother.
That's a meta.
That's a whole nother meta. That's a different meta.
Sorry, I tried, y'all.
No, but it worked. It's good.
I tried.
That's good.
And so last time we had you on was last year, right?
Uh-huh.
And you've kind of went into some new stuff that you have gotten involved with since that time. So let's let the people know, what Mr. Greer, had going on since then.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Well, my father passed away last year.
Sorry to hear that.
That was such a that event. I stopped my momentum of anything that I was seeking to build because I moved in with my folks prior to that and began a relationship with Dad, and that was something that we had or hadn't developed through life, and then Mom. But what I've been working on was, the PhD, mm-hmm. engaging with the neuro-linguistic programming and also the activation breath work. But everything just went plop because I had to grieve. And that grieving process takes an average of 2 years for anybody.
Yeah.
And look, grieving, I say a death of a family member, it also 2 years can be that for a relationship, of anything, an identity of who you are. People that retire, I watch them, it's like you got to grieve the loss of your perceived identity. And it takes an average of 2 years for a person to walk through that. And some of us don't. We want to hold on to it. So this past year, with my father passing, that really put everything on hold because I lost whatever momentum that was. And that's important to know that we each have to be able to walk through whatever that is. Yeah. And so that was important because even though let's say I'm working on this PhD, that's the real work because it's all about what you're doing internally through every experience in our life. Right. And so I'm walking through grief, I'm walking through challenges and relationship issues, that this is the real homework, not academic, what theorist says this, X, Y, and Z, but what am I really working on with me? So I'm actually acquiring much more experience with it. So what am I doing? Well, I started the soul drama workshops back again. Those are weekend long workshops.
The one I hadn't been able to make it to yet.
Yeah, how come?
I was scheduling.
Mm.
And you know what? I'm gonna just say it in front of the camera. It's that too, but mainly like finances. A lot of the times, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw that out there because I don't want you to keep thinking I'm just throwing you off to the side. It's always.
How much does a pair of tennis shoes cost?
I don't buy shoes no more.
How many you have?
A lot.
You could sell one of them pairs.
I could. To invest in myself, right.
I'm totally messing with
I
you.
just wanted to throw that out on camera and get vulnerable and let people know my schedule do be bad, but my schedule's bad because I'm compensating financial obligations.
And I honor that.
Yes, sir.
I honor that.
But I
honor
do
that.
want to come. I do want to come. So if it's ever a way, if you ever need your car washed, if you ever need your quantum metaphysics books washed or held or carried, then you call me. Yeah, but go ahead.
So I began the journey of the soul drama again.
Okay.
Began doing more of the activation breathwork sessions, and that has been phenomenal. People don't know what activation breathwork is.
My guy Stu has been on me heavy.
Who?
Stewart Palmetto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He attended.
He want me to do it.
So let me explain what activation breathwork is. If I mean, in case we just went down some kind of rabbit hole somewhere. So activation breathwork, founded by Ocean Eagle, and I worked with him in getting certified in his modality, began with holotropic work from Stan Gross and his wife, Christine Gross, in the early 70s. So the holotropic model and Ocean Eagle just went further with it.
Right.
It basically takes a particular breath, and so it's sort of circular, or not what Stan did. Stanislav Gross is his real name, full name. He had different speeding up and down. You have Wim Hof and other different modalities, but what Ocean created is a circular, and there's no stopping. There is, like Wim Hof, people who know what Wim Hof is, you'll hyperventilate, people will pass out.
Yeah.
Oh, they do have experiences, I assure you.
That's I thought that would happen to me. I'm glad you said that.
So this method of breathing, you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And you got to get that belly full.
Diaphragm, you want it in your diaphragm?
You want to get lower, brother. You want to get down here and do ugly breathing. See, we don't want to make the face like, people are like, oh, I want to make sure I look good. No, we need to.
So you want sex faces?
Well, if that's how you look at it. So we get this breathing going on, and there's no stopping at the top or the bottom. But this is just the breath.
Okay.
This is just the breath. And what happens is you activate the lower lobes of the lungs, and that activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That opens up creativity and emotional part. Listen, because if you're being macho and you want to breathe through the upper part of the chest, that activates your sympathetic nervous system, and that creates your fight or flight. And that's how come people anxiety increases. Yeah, so we're trying to calm this down. See, activation breathwork has some research done with blood work demonstrating it reduced blood pressure. For those, since you brought up sex, it helps with erectile dysfunction, ED. So I'm telling you, there's a wealth of health benefits from the breath.
This is all documented? Like, this is facts?
Yeah, this is research. Now, this is just the breath. Let me tell you what also is put with it. So then there's going to be loud music.
Right.
So, a lot of people have been to raves. And so and it's a good hour long or more, this particular music, because it helps an auditory sensation along with keeping the pace of the breath. And it's going to move through, I'll get into the chakras in a second. But the pacing, the music, it all helps the individual step. And plus you have eye coverings on. So we're trying to help you stay within yourself and not comparing yourself to how someone else is breathing or whatever they're doing. So you used to have an eye covering on, the breath modality is going, the music's really loud. Then you're going to have what's called physical contact. Physical contact. Well, let me back up. Let's go with the making noises. And not sexual.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep your head out, get out from under the sheets, man.
You had me.
I know.
I'm here, buddy.
But the noises, that's also important, because I talked about the lower lobes of the lungs and creating this parasympathetic nervous system. So by making noises, and by that I mean like yelling, crying, I tend to to whatever the tune pitch of the song is that's on. I mean, people, and I'm being quiet because I don't want to blow the microphone.
Right.
But the thing is, it's imperative because that noise activates the vagus nerve system. That does the same thing of reducing anxiety. And so you're and the noises, and look, when people do this the first time, they're like, well, I don't know about making all these noises. This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
The more but once you walk through this, what you experience is profound. Now, it's the noise, the breath, the music. Now let's go to the physical contact. The physical contact is someone like myself who would put hands at certain points, like I'll move your feet, I'll take your knees, maybe put them up against your chest. It's to help the breath work. And we're going to walk through all the chakras in our energy points through our body. And that'll be the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. All of this to do what's alignment. So people who do Reiki practitioner, and I'm not a Reiki practitioner, the individual who participates in the breath work, they're going to do their own work. So like a Reiki will help align you with you're going to align yourself.
Right.
I just help you, but you do it through your breath. This breath, and it's really intense with the music that's going forward, because the last piece of, or last variable of it, is going to be movement. And so what is the movement? It's what you feel called to do. So some of the workshops that I've done, or sessions I'll call them, are during the music. I mean, people say, man, I felt like I want to get up and dance. I said, well, get up and dance. Do what you feel like doing. It wasn't until probably the second or third time, it was the third time I did it, where I felt comfortable enough to let my body do what it felt guided to do. Some would say, let the spirit move you. And so what goes on is, and the reason I'm bringing this up is you're going to go within. You're going to go within. Now, let me bring up quantum metaphysics. So from a Christ consciousness, Jesus said in Luke 17:21, seek not the kingdom of God outside, seek the kingdom of God within. Behold, within. So while you're doing this work, you're going within yourself to connect spiritually, and you're going to have experiences with this. So again, the movement and then the contact with the breathing, all of these variables together produce our body's own synthetic enzymes that create our own DMT. What is DMT?
That's the death stuff, huh?
The death stuff?
Yeah.
Well, dilithium tryptamine. Oh my Lord,
I messed you up. I usually had that effect on people. I apologize.
Thank you, Ron.
But that's the stuff that you have produced when you're born and when you die, right? That's what we're talking about? That's
Well, you have LSD, you have ayahuasca, you have mushrooms. In your history, you ever do any of that?
I was a opiate.
Really?
I was an opiate
You
baby.
never experienced that? Wow. So all this plant
tell them I
experience.
can try, since I never did it, and it won't be. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So try liptomithium. Oh my, man, this is terrible. I can't remember it. So sorry, Ocean. So so this DMT, our bodies can't produce it. Yes, they say at birth and at death.
Yeah.
However, we can create it during these exercises.
Really?
These exercises. So what occurs is people have a psychedelic, as a non-pharmaceutical psychedelic experience. And within this time period, you can see things. Now, for me, some people have visual hallucinations, I guess. Mine wasn't as strong the first time. I mean, I remember seeing pitch black. And it's, your eye covering, so it's black, I get it. No, I mean, I saw space. And when I mean space, I mean an infinite depth of what's on. And in the middle of this, I see this triangle. And I went, there's a triangle, man. What the F is that? And I'm looking, and I go closer, and look, I'm in the middle of this. I'm going through all this stuff, and I'm crying and squalling and everything. I look, and it's not just a triangle. I could see closer. It's a pyramid. So I could see the markings of everything, and I was like, I see this. More importantly, through the course of that particular session, I identified part of my own codependence. My codependence of how come I was attracted to somebody. And it was like, it was like a light bulb moment. And so even as a talk therapist, a group psychotherapist, a certified group psychotherapist, we can sit here and talk. But until the light bulb comes on inside an individual,
Right.
they're not going to seek change. And that's why when I train new counselors in addictions counseling and they're trying to push solutions on them, I said, hey, do we have their attention yet? Because one, have I had enough pain and suffering to go inside to be able to identify what it is for me to desire change? And then you became sober one day. Something had to click for you to say, you know what, I want to change. No one told you, hey man, you need to quit. What are you doing? You realize what you're doing to your family and your friends? Nobody cares in their active addiction.
Because I heard that so much. Yeah.
So let's say my active addiction, take away alcohol and drugs. Where's the codependence? The codependence becomes in my relationships. And how come I sought and needed somebody? Well, there was something, and within my session, I saw it and I understood. I mean, I fully understood. And I was like, oh, wow. That didn't give me the answer, and it didn't make it go away. What it gave me was identifying the problem, that I could work on it, and an emotional connection so that I could. That's the beauty of it. And so when I do these activation breathwork sessions, we'll do what's called a processing after. Similar to if you're at a sweat lodge, Native American practice is I'll have a talking stick. So I have a shaman drum, and I'll use my drumstick. And while we pass the stick around, each person has the floor to share what experience they had. And I have had people tell me, wow. And so I worked with 8 people at a particular treatment center, and I worked with, there were 2 women and 6 males. And one of the females said, and all she could do, and tearfully said, Greg, all I can tell you is my daughter died 3 years ago. And I saw my daughter, and my daughter told me, Mama, I'm okay. And she said, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
So that experience for her just connect. I mean, that was so powerful for me because I was, in the way I look at it, I just held space for her. So when it comes to relationships and being able to be with somebody, just to hold space with somebody, what does that mean? Most men want to solve the problem. Oh, hey baby, what do you got? Let me take care of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix it. No. Can you just hold space with somebody to be present with them while they experience whatever it is they need to move forward? So that's just one of many who have shared their experience of awareness. And as far as the visual, like I said, people have some pretty strange visualizations, hallucinations, if you want to call it that. It is a psychedelic experience. The emotional one is the most or the strongest. And just to share with my own, when I first started doing the activation breath work, I learned how to meditate. I had the ability to meditate longer, to sit still without racing thoughts for longer than 20 minutes and could do further. That's what that helped me develop. And then when I had to go sit in a CAT scan, and they were telling me how long I was going to sit in there and how uncomfortable and having any claustrophobia with that, I said, hey man, it's going to be cool. I sat in that thing. When I closed my eyes, I'm telling you, I created a space where I felt like I was in a field and I had this really open air, and I felt no closed space within me. And I said, wow, I've never been able to do that before. I wasn't using anything.
Right.
So activation breathwork helped me do this and so much more. So Ocean Eagle, not to keep pushing him, because first of all, it is. I hope to work with you again, dude. Where he is in Tamil, Mexico, if I pronounce that correctly. So he worked with the vets. It's Memorial Day, so let's talk about it. So he worked with 10 military down in Mexico. 8 of them were Navy SEALs, and that's where he was doing blood work to see, before and after, to see what effects this has. And if you were to go to his website, with Ocean Eagle, with activationbreathwork.org, he talks about, what their experiences were. And not just him, they share what they experienced. Now, that was all men. Just a few weeks ago, he worked with all women. And so with each of these groups, what they have experienced is just mind-blowing. And I'm like, wow. So I reside in Monroe, Louisiana, and I'm trying to bring activation breathwork to our region. And while it looks, and if you there's a CBS Lisa Ling story that she did on ocean, and it shows people doing it. It looks something really weird, hippie, and like they're all dropping acid or something. But it's like, hey, you're dropping your own experience, and it's really amazing.
So his real name Ocean Eagle?
No, his real name is Marty Daniels.
I
But
was about
what
to-
happened was he created part of, look.
That
it's
sounds spiritual. That sounds like he was meant to do something spiritual. If your name Ocean Eagle.
Well, he was working in Peru,
Okay.
and while he was going through all his breathwork exercises, he had visions of, what does ocean mean? What does eagle mean? He said, you know what, this, who am I? So think about when we get sober. How many years are you sober?
6.
So 6 years. Are you? I mean, you consider yourself just an addict?
No, I consider my guy. I consider myself. Damn, I don't even know.
Okay, so who am I? So part of and we go to meetings, I am an alcoholic, I am an addict. Yeah, I am. But you know what? I am much more than that. That's only part of me to help me be inclusive with this group. But I am so much more. I mean, I'm a spirit, I'm a soul wrapped, with this, flesh suit on around me.
Thanks.
And so are you.
Yeah.
We all are. And that's how we're all connected.
I'm gonna have to think about who I am. You put me on the spot with that one.
Well, this is a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
It starts to go who I am and then who do I want to be.
Yeah.
And so many people say, well, I am who I think I am because what my parents told me growing up. Think about how, and you remember that when you said you participated with the workshop that I gave or the presentation at Treatment Center.
Oh, yeah. April 2019. Yes, sir.
Oh, you remember that.
Oh, come on. I can't forget it.
But the messages that our parents gave us, wow, how they download it. And look, it doesn't have to be direct.
Right.
It can be indirect. So I'm an Air Force brat. My father wasn't always there. He was developing the airbag with the Air Force financed by GM, and his career was on fire. And so imagine and I don't hold any blame towards him. Just imagine as a dad, your career's about to, he was in science, rocket, offense, but it was like, wow, check this out. So yeah, a newborn kid throws a monkey wrench or a wrench in the, whatever that is. And so it's like, wow. So yeah, he resented me being born because it's like, wow, check it out, man. I got this career. Now I got this kid.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't home a lot. So the message I received was, what is love? Well, is love not being home? Is love like maybe I am not important? My voice doesn't matter because if I speak, and he's so busy, he doesn't have time to hear a 4-year-old kid that's going to be ramble away. So he shuts you down, and so I'm not able to speak. I don't feel like my voice has weight, value, etc. So all of these messages are, and look what I do today.
Right.
I talk all the time. Well, I do that because I never felt heard. I never felt understood. And these are a lot of us experienced that growing up. And it's not because your parents told you. This is the indirect message,
Yeah.
They get angry all the time. Oh, so now I'm filled with shame. So everything I do is my fault.
Yeah.
So then I walk around going, oh, I'm sorry. Well, how come I do that? Well, these are messages downloaded. So who am I? So I'm trying to redevelop and reprocess who I am. And that's for each of us. That's part of our journey. We find out who we are from our past to be open to we can be whoever we want. And not just like when your parents said, hey, you want to grow up, you can be the president of the United States if you want to. And it's like today, it's like, who do I want to be? I can be what? I don't, and I leave that open for yourself.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. You preaching today. I want to ask you something real quick before we move past that. Did the relationship with you and your dad, did you get to fix that and be heard? And
Craziest thing, what's crazy about all that? I mean, we're talking a month before he passed. He's telling me about premonitions. He said, son, now first, he supported me getting activation breath work.
Right. Because
he said, look, son, the science, there's health value in the breath work molecularly. And he's showing me the research. So I support you. I want you to do this. Quantum metaphysics. Well, a month before, he said, I've had 3 premonitions in my life, son, and I can't prove it by science, but I know I had it. I know I experienced it. And he shared with me what happened. And he looked at me and he said, I'm hoping you can get that PhD in quantum metaphysics, because it's not just the spiritual awareness of it. It goes far deeper of the connection of everything. The God of my understanding is everything. And so religion, many people see a man in the sky or, God's image and,
Yeah.
and this. And so the message has been cultivated to how I perceive. And my reality is everything about what I perceive.
Right.
And so when I say God is everything, I'm talking about what I love it, like what makes up this room. Like Eckhart Tolle, I love him. What makes up this room? And you'll say to me, this wall, the floor, the furniture. I'm like, yes. What about the air that's in it? There's more air in this space than the furniture and the quote matter, physical matter that you see. But the air's in this room, that's part of it too. And people don't look at it. So everything is God. And so that means I'm a part of God, you're a part of God, so I am. And I'm just not to preach or anything, but it's about awareness of how we're connected. God seek within, I am. So I'm here to help each person identify their spiritual journey so that they can redefine who they are and not hold themselves hostage based on the messages that were given by their parents. And what's amazing, we tell ourselves we're not that person anymore. You look in the mirror and you go, God, I'm still doing it. Well, until it hurts enough, we won't change. And that's what soul drama does. Soul drama, and come on one day, soul drama is about identifying the codependent message that we learned in our childhood and to reprogram it. So I studied neuro-linguistic programming. Also, there's EMDR and there's brain spotting. This is other areas.
EMDR, that's trauma, right?
Eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. That's really a wonderful component. Soul drama is similar, and it's active with psychodrama, where we're going to activate parts of the brain where we feel the trauma, and we're going to move and role play so that we can reprocess, reprogram the message. I call it the narrative. So you get to talk to your mom, you get to talk to your dad, and not every time, or your younger self.
Right.
Like me, I got to talk to little Greg. And it's like, how do I talk to him to help him understand? Because him is me. And so once I'm able to hold him hostage, and then with what I call God, my soul, my spirit, Archangel Michael, and whomever else is around, it's like, hey, we can all together, we're doing this because it's a we thing. So I'm just sharing with you to reprogram the message that we've been programmed as kids. Because by the time you're 7 or 8, your full personality is hardwired, man. And so as we get older, to redo it. So I look at these codependent relationships, which I myself in my 50s continue to do so until just 2 years ago, was able to identify something, and it was necessary. And I'm extremely grateful for that. At the time, oh my God, no. But now, I'm able to see things. Now, to see it's one thing. To take action and do something different is another.
Yeah. So, I know it's hard for you to pinpoint this into one answer, right? Everybody different. But in your professional opinion, or on average, how long would it take one to not master breath work, but do it to the point to where they're comfortable enough and they're starting to see some results to keep going? Because like somebody like me, right, that's never did it, and already like afraid to do it. And then I'm like, bro, it's gonna take too long. It's stupid. It's this, that. But if you can kind of give me a time frame to kind of look at, then I may be more prone to like jump into it.
Well, there are different modalities.
What is modalities? You didn't use that word so many times. My people, somebody text me and asked me to ask you what modality was.
Well, people, let me talk to you for a second. Well, Wim Hof. Wim Hof is a different breath work, a different modality. Without going with too many, there are some where you can do 5 and 10 minute exercises, 5 or 10 minute exercises to get some results, but you got to continue practicing. The reason I advocate for activation breath work is, one, it's going to last an hour. And when you continue to do this process for an hour, it's going to help start downloading. Were you ever in sports?
Yeah, that's my.
Well, how long did it take you to do a line drill, man?
To get comfortable with it, practice, repetition. It was.
Okay, so you're answering your own question.
I sure did. God dog it, I hate when I do that.
So it's right, but that's what we have to do, and that's where the practice comes into play. If you're in recovery, you work the 12 steps, SMART, harm reduction. Everything is practice. And so it's like in 12 Steps Alcoholics Anonymous, they talk about practice these principles in all our affairs.
Yeah.
What am I practicing? And every day I have to be mindful and aware of what exactly that is. And hey, the more I'm aware, the more I'm going to practice. Because the days I'm going to be thrown off,
Right.
I just got to get back in the drill.
And so you talked about soul drama briefly. What does soul drama look like for someone that may be interested?
Soul Drama is a 3-day workshop,
Okay.
and it's important. Soul Drama was, first of all, it was founded by Connie Miller, an LPC and TEP with psychodrama. So Soul Drama was birthed from psychodrama, and psychodrama is by Jacob L. Moreno, a psychiatrist, basically from oh Lord,
It's okay.
yeah. See,
I don't
Ronnie,
know
what
you're
you
talking
do.
about anyway, so you could just make up something and be like this, and this. I'm gonna believe.
So, but in the early 1900s and then 30s, I mean, he met Freud, and he talked about, hey man, I picked up where you left off. So I do surgery. You know, you open people up, I close them back up.
Yeah.
And so Moreno created psychodrama. Psychodrama has these really amazing tools, and I told you earlier about doubling.
Mm-hmm.
Doubling is an exercise where you learn empathy and what another person's feeling. The other one, we have these other exercises called spectrograms and sociometry, and all of these exercises. But soul drama has a narrative, and the narrative is to identify our ego, which learned these hardcore messages as kids. I'm not good enough, which is fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, and these messages that hold us hostage and growing.
Right.
And where did that come from? So once we walk through these doors, and in soul drama we have what's called light messengers. Now, soul drama travels to Bali, Indonesia. So when it comes to spirituality, it's all about our connection with our God, higher power, spirit, universe, Gaia, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because we're in the Bible Belt. And I'm here to tell you, Soul Drama goes to Bali, Indonesia, and works with Hindu, Muslims, Christians together. There's no conflict. There's no war. Everyone's connecting with their higher power. And the reason they're doing it is they're identifying the barriers to connecting, which is fear.
Yeah.
It's all about fear. When we're born, we didn't know fear. We didn't know jealousy.
Right.
We didn't know all these things. It became part of our being based upon the environment and our family system.
Thanks.
Soul drama helps us identify how it came to be, when the moment was, oh, that's when that happened. And so we role play a little bit so that I can, and when I say role play, you're going to be whoever you need to be to love yourself, communicate with mom or dad, whatever part of that lifestyle was, so you can recreate the message. Then the narrative, you can download it. Does that fix it? No, it identifies it, and it recreates a new narrative that you can now start to feed yourself. And so people do prayers. I call them mantras. You know, what am I telling myself today? We look in the mirror today. What am I saying? Do I love me? Hey, I love you. I love it. I call my sponsor in Baton Rouge. I call him my sponsor in Baton Rouge because whenever I'm in town, that's what we do. We visit. Took him 9 months and 6 days, or maybe it was 6 months and 9 days, that when he went through treatment, they said, look in the mirror and say, I love you. Now, he played for LSU football, played for the Detroit Lions, 6'4" guy, and he says, okay, I'm going to look in the mirror. And he did it. And he said it took that long a time before one day his heart just exploded and he felt it. And he felt it. I do love me. Wow. But he had to practice it every day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean after that moment it was rainbows and unicorns.
Right.
There were days where it wasn't happening, but it built the foundation,
Yeah.
and we have to recreate what messages. We got to practice it. So the breath work you asked, how much practice it? What lifestyle am I going to create? I am what? Many times when we wake up in the morning, I am what? Still procrastinating? I'm not going to use the word lazy. Lazy, by the way, research is defined as fear, just like procrastination. I'm afraid to do what? Become a fear of success.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's like, I'm not doing the dishes today, so I must be afraid of the dishes. I went, no. You're afraid of discomfort. Because if I have to go clean those dishes, it's not going to feel good. I'm going to be irritated, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, well, get up and do it. While you're doing dishes, you might enjoy yourself. Have a little fun while you're doing it. How about sing a song? How about dance if you want to? Make something up. So I am having fun. I am love. I mean, all of these things are recreating a new message. Soul drama helps us do that because we'll do activities within the group exercises. And the group exercises is first we have to become comfortable with each other.
Right.
So it's create. And we have so they're warm-ups. They're warm-ups, a lot of warm-up. And then we get into the dramas. The next day we'll do the dramas. At the end, we process. We process what happened. And not everybody does what's called a drama. What happens is while somebody's in there doing the drama, other people will be accessories and they participate. And when you're participating in this drama, you experience your own feelings from your own experiences in life. And suddenly light bulb moments come on. And when people process, it's never about, wow, what you did. It's about what came up for me. And I understand now this. And that's profound because that's the whole process. And in the meantime, you realized how you connected because we're all connected. And so the doubling exercise I talked about earlier, the doubling, you find out because it's called telly, and that's a psychodrama term, is how I am you because I relate to whatever you felt. I feel what you're feeling, and
Could
that's
you double
empathy.
me right now, or we needed to do a session for you to get the feel for it?
Double you right now? Okay, I'll try. So what I would do is I would stand
touch my
behind you.
shoulder?
Yeah, put my hand on your shoulder, and I'd say, and look, whatever I say, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just what I feel you're feeling, and if it's right, you repeat it. If it's not, then you change it.
All right.
So if I'm you, I'm gonna say, oh, Greg, you are blowing my mind. I don't know what you're talking about. If that's right, repeat it. If it's not, change it.
Greg, you are blowing my mind. You lost me at metaphysics.
If I were to double you further, it's like, Greg, I sometimes feel less than when you're speaking.
Yeah.
No, if it's right,
Greg,
repeat it.
sometimes I feel less than when you speaking.
Okay. So, Greg, I love you, man.
Greg, I love you, man.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, here I'm doubling you. Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm just looking at is the doubling part is me, and here's the empathy. When I do couples counseling, I'll have them double for each other. So I'll have the husband for a heterosexual, relationship. So I'll say, hey, look, your wife is telling me, she's like, I am afraid. I'm afraid when your kids, because this particular couple had kids from different relationships. So when your kids come over, I'm scared. I'm scared of your kids, and I never feel safe. I never feel safe. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I said, hey, go double for your wife. I want you to double for her. He goes, I can't, Greg, because I can't fix it. We talked a little further about his background, childhood. Father was in Vietnam, was a very physically abusive man, and there were other relationship issues with his parents. And I was like, well, how did you feel in that home with violence? And then he goes, well, I didn't feel safe. I said, stop. And he looked at his wife, and he said, baby, is that how you feel? And she's, I've been trying to tell you. I said, okay, I want you to go over and double for her. I feel safe. So now we're learning to be empathic, to understand how another person feels.
Yeah.
That's empathy.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't understand. And most men, when they get in relationships, when they see their spouse, or girlfriend or whomever, partner, cry, it's like, oh, they want them to stop. Sit with them.
I'm guilty of that.
It's okay. Hold space. Hold space so they can allow that person to learn, identify whatever they need to.
So would you recommend putting one before the other, or just get started? Whether it's breath work, then soul drama, then breath work, or do one kind of lead you up for the other one?
Well, they're really modalities. They're two different modalities. I thought about doing a retreat where I would use soul drama and then do some breath work in between. I don't know, because the breath work is individual. I mean, we process afterwards.
Yeah.
But we're not doing the group work where we interact together and we connect, where we understand we are one.
Got you.
So soul drama, and that's my passion, because group is my passion.
Right.
And the reason it is I never felt I belonged. That's a message. An Air Force brat moving around from town to town, and then where did I find my space? I never felt like I could speak because I never felt understood. And look what I do today. I'm in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I help counsel others. I help people use their voice, find their voice, just as I did. And so my experience in life is my gift to what I do today. While it was a challenge, it's now a gift. And that's for each of us to be able to, one, identify it, and then with gratitude, truly appreciate it. Because we look at our trauma as like we want to blame. Oh, man, this happened because my parents did this. I said, if I can look at it that this is what created part of me, then I'm going to have gratitude with it. And I'm going to, I'm going to become something I never have been before.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Who do I want to be?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm
So soul drama, I love them both.
I am somebody.
And soul drama, I do up in Northeast Louisiana, but I've done soul drama down in Baton Rouge. I've done it in New Orleans,
I think you did one in like
Covington.
Yeah,
I did it in Covington. I did it in Lafayette and Shreveport. I've been to Arkansas, and I love traveling. Obviously, Air Force brat. I can't sit still. I want to be able. Well, I want to be able to connect with whomever and wherever to help them. You know how you become successful?
By doing the same thing over and over.
You help other people become successful, and then you become successful. And so I'm here to want to help somebody in their journey, and by helping them with their journey, it's going to help me with mine.
Help you with your journey. I almost feel like we talked about that last time you was here. I think you said something along those lines.
I can't remember. I'm in the now.
You in the now. Do you mix your comedy with any of this breathwork or soul drama classes? Because you could charge double for that if you do.
I haven't thought about it. I use what humor I still have, but the humor I used to have, remember, was an attention process. Let me get your attention, because I do, 50 to 70 impressions? And that was funny in a presentation process to get the crowd to participate.
Especially that type of crowd, too. You know what I
That's
mean?
to get to participate.
Yeah.
And then we need to become intimate. And when we become intimate, the mask has to be dropped.
Yeah.
So the humor has to be reduced. And humor is natural, but what's funny, like in our intimate setting, versus trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Because I feel anxious, awkward, other. And so I reduce that part so where we can just be comfortable. And then real humor happens. And that's the kind of humor where we're laughing, and then we laugh more, and on top of that, we can't breathe. And then that becomes something more powerful than anything that's just put on like a mask. I don't know, those.
So it's true, laughter good for the soul.
Oh, amen.
Yeah.
And so it is.
Yeah. That whatever that meant.
Amen's good.
Amen. There you go. We're going to hold it at amen. So we come into my least favorite part of the pod. But before we do that, you just recently started a pod.
Oh, I did. I started a podcast.
Started a podcast.
Too. I did.
So let our
like everybody else. I think there's a dog on my street. They started a podcast.
Everybody doing podcasts now. Everybody got something to say. But hey, that's good, because now we having people that can help make real change and help open spiritual eyes.
I'm trying to connect the professional recovery community of Louisiana and above. So I was like all clinicians, and purpose, and those that we serve. So it's all together.
So what's the name of the pod? What's the purpose? You kind of briefly just said that. The name, the purpose, how can we find you?
Voices of Recovery.
Okay.
Voices of Recovery. And it's about connecting, unifying, building, uniting the recovery industry, if you will, with professional in recovery and the population we serve, because not to compete with one another, but to work together. And I say that because Business 101, when McDonald's and Burger King opened, McDonald's was first. Burger King opened just a block from every McDonald's in the United States. And they were like, oh no, they're going to threaten our business. The part of it was both of these entities' income thrived. And so when people look at their numbers as a treatment center, oh no, they're going to take a client with it. Dude, there's enough people dying from addiction.
Yes.
There's enough people suffering from it. You don't have to compete and do a used car.
I say this all the time. They like more beds opening. Good. We need them. We got so many people out here dying.
So Voices of Recovery, man. That's the podcast, and
Voices of Recovery. And you're on YouTube?
On YouTube, I posted on my website, voicesofrecovery.org.
Voicesofrecovery.org.
Link, and then just like everybody else, they can go to it. You can subscribe and ask questions, and we can grow, because that's what I want to do. I want to grow.
Yeah. And so, how would someone contact you if they just listen to this episode and they're interested in some breath work or some soul drama? How can they reach out to you to find out dates where you have openings or something coming up?
One, you can email me.
Okay.
Gregory Greer at voicesofrecovery.org.
Okay.
Gregory Greer at voicesofrecovery.org.
Tell them that.
Hey.
They looking at you.
Gregory Greer at voicesofrecovery.org.
Okay.
And you get on my website. There's a contact there. My cell number's on it. I ain't scared. Call me.
Yeah. What else I wanted to ask you, because you just took me on a journey. I wanted to see that triangle you was talking about, but I didn't want to close my eyes right here on camera. It was something else. It slipped my mind.
I do that for
Oh,
people.
yes, the cost. Yes.
The
Because a
cost.
lot of people gonna want to know. You know what I mean? Is it case by case basis, or do you have set fees
Where Soul Drama is $350.
for 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that include?
That includes the work. It doesn't include lodging. It doesn't
Okay.
include that like these retreats do.
Okay.
Look, these retreats, there's places where it costs $5,000
Yeah.
to go to this kind of work that I provide. $350 is ridiculously inexpensive. I understand that we're in the South and there's a socioeconomic barrier, but it's amazingly affordable in that context. So the lodging and the meals, I bring snacks, whatnot, but the $350 cover the cost. For those that are clinicians, I do offer continued education units
Like
for it,
CEUs. Okay.
Breath work, entirely different. It can be up to 2 hours for it. We're going to prep because I need to help you practice. We're going to go through it. It's going to be an hour at least.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to have processing afterwards.
Okay.
And that's about 2 hours long. And that's $150.
So that's so breath work is 1 day.
Oh, we do that in a couple hours.
Okay, and then so breath work is 2 hours, and then soul drama is the weekend thing.
Yeah, we'll do Friday
Okay.
night, 5:30
Gotcha.
to 8:30, all day Saturday, and then a Sunday morning.
Gotcha.
And usually it's like a love fest, little mini Woodstock from back in the, I guess it was late 60s, early 70s.
People barefoot
people-
and stuff.
Look, everybody's getting their cell numbers. Everybody's, oh man, I can't wait. And they stay in touch for like a few weeks, but then they get back in the groove of life.
Yeah.
And those disconnect, they begin to lose the connection that they had at that time.
Yeah. I'm interested in the breath work.
I'm happy to
I'ma
come
get
down
with you.
to Baton Rouge.
But I got to get enough people to do it, make it worth your while.
Look, I only need 4 to 8 people.
All right, if anybody
4 to
listening
8
to
people.
this or watching this and you're interested in you're interested in doing some breath work, contact us. I'm like his agent, his manager right now, right?
Thank you.
I'm going to manage out his services once we get enough people. Once we hit the quota, it's in there.
Right on.
Man, I appreciate you driving all the way down here to come sit on this beautiful platform with me.
I miss Baton Rouge because, I lived here for 8 years, and then for 8 years I did the contract work with the treatment program.
maybe
So
time to move
16
back.
years, man, in Baton Rouge. I have some roots here.
It may be time to come back.
I hear
It's the
you.
second time I didn't heard that. Somebody else said the same thing. Why don't you come back?
I am. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll
I
see what happens.
appreciate y'all joining us on another beautiful episode of Built by the Red Stick. We can run those subscribes up. Continue to smash that like button. We really appreciate y'all. Make sure you got your notifications on so every time an episode or a short or a real drop on Built by the Red Stick, you will stay in the now. Again, we appreciate y'all from the bottom of our heart. The love and support and just the outpouring from the community, love from the community. It has been nothing short of amazing. But now I got to let y'all go. But until then, we'll be back at the same time, at the same place, with the same producer. Built by the Red Stick, baby. Built by adversity, led by courage.